do the real-time translation, even without the sound. So very happy to be here. Looks like there are still a few survivors at 5 p.m. on Friday to talk about better organizations, conscious leadership. Maybe a few words about myself. Sorry for the crappy quality. So my name is Sylvain. I'm an Agile and Innovation coach. I have a background in software engineering. Then I did some program management using waterfall. So I felt the pain and I was looking for solutions. It was 11 years ago and I came across Agile. It really changed my life. And that's how I became kind of Mr. Agile, doing training, mentoring, coaching, basically helping organizations adopt Agile. I'm quite passionate about coaching. I'm also a life coach. So very often I explain that during the day I'm an Agile coach, and at night and on weekends I'm a life coach. I'm also quite passionate about leadership, facilitation. I like it very much as well. And basically the new trend and what we call the future of work, and basically how organizations need to adapt if they want to stay relevant, with all the trends that we have at the moment. So first, to start this session, I want to share with you a few things that organizations keep asking me when I coach them. And I don't know, I want to hear what you think of it. So for instance, they ask me, okay, looks like when we implement Agile, there is this new role, the Scrum Master, and there is this new role, the Product Owner. So does that mean that basically all my PMs, project managers, should become the Scrum Masters, right? And and all my business analysts should become the Product Owners? Is it what we should do? Oh, and by the way, this concept of velocity, that would be great if we could normalize it across the teams so that we can, compare the performance of the teams, right? Oh, and also we are using Jira in our organization, and that would be great if we could standardize, the flow of work across teams, because, team A, they have 5 steps, and team B, they have 7 or 8 steps. So yeah, this is the type of questions, that organizations keep asking me. There is no right or wrong. It's just that this is that smells the type of organization that considers Agile as a recipe, and they want the cookbook. They want to implement practices. So usually, as an Agile coach, when you keep, when the system keeps sending this type, of questions, there is a red blinking light somewhere. What organizations need to understand, and I think as change agents, we need to be fully aware of this, is that Agile defines a culture. Okay? So I like this visual, which is the Agile iceberg. You'll find it there. All right? And really, you need to understand that what's visible, the daily, maybe you've heard of daily stand-up meeting and Scrum Master and product backlog and Kanban board and cumulative flow diagrams and blah, blah, blah. This is what's visible, but this is just, the tip of the iceberg. And I'm not saying that organizations won't get any value by implementing the practices. They will get some value, maybe the 10, the 20, the 30% range, which is already quite a lot. But from good to great and to awesome, you really, really need to shift your mindset. And this is really the base of the iceberg. And very often what they want the awesomeness. And they focus on the practices, and then there is some tension in their Agile implementation. It's quite recent that in the Agile community there is this very, very strong shift in terms of focus from practices to culture. It's quite recent. Myself, 10 years back, when I was asked to help an organization, I was very much focusing on the team, putting in place usually Scrum, Product Owner, Scrum Master, daily stand-up, and so on. So I would say it's in the past 3 to 5 years that I realized that, all right, this glass ceiling that we keep hitting when we help organizations is the culture, right? There is a model, and don't worry, you don't need to read it. I'm gonna give you a few handouts. So I think we can maybe have one per row. there is one model that I find very interesting to understand what's going on in the organizations. It's called the PALO culture model. And basically it explains how, as the level of consciousness of people evolved over the ages, also the level of consciousness of organizations evolved. All right? So if some of you are into human psychology, maybe you may have heard of something called spiral dynamics. I think there are like something like 10 to 12 levels, and that describes levels of awareness, level of consciousness. All right? So a very long time ago, so you see there are like 5 levels: red, amber, orange, green, and teal. All right? And for each level, there are some key breakthroughs. And something also you need to understand is that each level is like the Russian dolls. If you operate, let's say, at the orange level, you are still able to operate at lower levels. But the way around doesn't work. If you are an orange organization, you are not able to operate at a green or teal level. All right? So basically people, in the past, they organized themselves in tribes, and the key breakthroughs were, a strong leader, division of labor, authority. So these were the breakthroughs. After that, they realized that led to a lot of instability. So they needed maybe more stability. So that's the amber state. Amber state is the breakthroughs are roles, processes, and you will find, for instance, this in the army, in the church, right? You can repeat this model forever and forever and forever. All right? Then after this, the orange, which was around the Industrial Revolution, is the stability from the amber system found its limitations in terms of new breakthroughs. So the orange level introduced more competition, some form of delegation, meaning the leader explains what needs to be done, and there is some empowerment, at the team level. So this is where we go, and you will work out, the how. That led to amazing breakthroughs in terms of innovation, meritocracy. So lots of benefits at the orange level. Green level is more inclusive. It's more about consensus, family values, the organization as a family. And then teal, there are just a few organizations, working at the team level these days, which is very much, decentralization. The very strong belief that people are resourceful and are able to find their own way and find their own solutions. And the guiding metaphor is a living organism, and meaning that the organization is able to be fully self-managed and able to adapt to a constantly changing environment, right? And this is called the evolutionary purpose, right? So I find this model very interesting, and I'm going to give you just a few moments, so maybe in pairs or maybe like one row, just have a conversation, and I would like you to discuss these 3 questions. All right, in which color do you think Agile works best? Which color is your organization? And which color are you? All right, so I'm just going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to have a conversation around this.
One of each.
One of each.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm taking a few. If you guys, you take one of each.
So I pass around?
Yeah.
Oh, one of each?
One of each, yes. Oh, I guess we didn't have more. All right. I think you can maybe sit, with other people, or maybe, I think there is one there. So maybe you can just, yeah.
Can you share?
Yeah.
Once you read.
Yeah. So in which color do you think Agile works best? Which color is your organization? And which color are you? And I'm passing around some cards, with each level. And in a few moments, we'll do a quick voting to see, the level of consciousness.
We have no amber.
No more amber? Red and amber are together on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the color is blue.
Maybe 2 more minutes.
How do you know me better than myself? Because I think that you're
Red and amber are together. Yeah. All right, so I know that not all of you have the cards, but it's okay. They are, slowly moving, to the back rows. So in which color do you think Agile works best? So for those of you who have a color, you can show. Otherwise, I will ask people. So, what do you think?
Green.
We have green here. Green. Other opinions? We have orange here. Orange as well. Yep.
Orange is the best.
We have a few one. Okay. So, which color you think is your organization? Red, orange, red. We have a lucky one. Green here. Woo! Hey guys, which color is your organization?
You come from my company, you can tell. Right? You coach my...
Teal?
Red line.
Yeah. Teal? Voxxed Days? Teal? Okay. And which color are you? I hear green, teal. Yeah.
Everyone will say green.
Red. So I think you get it, right? So if you really run, like a big survey, you'll find that Agile works best in green and teal. Agile works in green and teal. I'm going to say a few more words about it soon.
Different opinion.
Different opinions.
It helps switch from orange to green.
It helps switch from orange to green. Why not? Yeah. Most organizations these days, like a huge majority, 70-80% are orange. They are still, for instance, do you hear about people or resources?
Resources.
Thank you. Orange. All right.
I think it's better.
If the words that you listen to, in your organizations are, I want people to get to, it's about pushing and not pulling. All these keywords are really orange keywords. Organization as a machine, meaning that people are replaceable parts. resources, right? And more people, if you ask them as individuals, they are green. You know, they really value work-life balance. You know, they want to be able to work from home. They want to find, they want to do more great work in the sense that more impactful, more fulfilling. All right. So there is this gap, you know, between the organizations and the people. What happens if you try to implement Agile in red or amber? We call it the reverse manifesto. All right? So the reverse manifesto is processes and tools over individuals and interactions, comprehensive documentation over working software, and you get it, the reverse manifesto. If you try to implement Agile in orange, most of the time you will end up with the questions I showed at the beginning, meaning the organization will try to, the organization sees Agile as a new process. So we need documentation, we need standardization, we need normalization. And then as a coach, you will really need to work very hard to make them understand that this is not a one-size-fits-all, you know, recipe, right? And then I agree with Tushar, you can probably help them transition from orange to green. But they need to be aware that, you know, there is a gap. There is a model that I find very interesting coming from Michael Sahota, saying that basically the culture is the combination of the consciousness and the structure. So basically the top of the iceberg and the bottom of the iceberg. All right? Consciousness is the bottom, and the structure is, you know, the expression of the consciousness. And I like it when he says that basically in many organizations we focus on the structure, we try to pull it, you know, we want to make it vibrate at a higher level of consciousness, so more collaborative practices, more empowerment, more wholeness. And it's a bit like a rubber band, you know, you pull, and blam, it comes back. Because the stable state of the system is orange. All right? So what you need to understand is that you need, you know, you need consistency between the consciousness and between the structure, between the top and the bottom of the iceberg. This is exactly what the main study about Agile says. It's called State of Agile, and it says, you cannot read, but please believe me, it says that the number one cause of failure is that the corporate culture is at odds with the Agile mindset. So this is the gap I'm talking about. This is also what, you know, a management guru has been saying for decades, that, you know, culture eats strategy for breakfast, meaning that whatever your strategy is, if it's not congruent with your level of consciousness, your culture, that will not work. Culture is stronger. Culture is always stronger. Okay? Okay, what's the relationship between this and leadership? Well, in big organizations, leaders are the ones who shape the culture. It's not the case in a small company. In a small company, culture is shaped by the people. You know, it's bottom up. In a big organization, culture is top down. All right? So if we want to change the level of consciousness and make it and create a culture where Agile will fit, we need to work with the leaders. All right? Because they are the ones who can, you know, embody green or teal, you know, whatever color is compatible with Agile. Right? And we also need to make it very clear that it's one of the posters there, I think it's, the culture of the one on the left, the culture of an organization is limited by the consciousness of the leader. The leader is the limit. The leader is the limit. So if the leader is at this level of consciousness, there is no way you can implement Agile practices, for instance, in a sustainable manner. Meaning that, as long as you have Agile coaches like me, that will give the impression that it works, and as soon as we exit, the system will come back to, you know, the stable state, which is orange most of the time. All right? So before I present a few tips to help, you know, grow our level of consciousness, what do you think makes a good Agile leader? What are the attributes of a good green or teal leader? Just shout keywords. Commitment? Sorry? It should be a pig. Ah, pig and chicken. All right, okay. So for those of you who don't know, it's a famous story in the Agile circles. The pig and chicken, they want to open a restaurant. And the pig, I think it's the pig says to the chicken, that's very unfair because, you know, you would be involved and I would be committed, you know, because, you know, the chicken just, you know, give the eggs. Eggs and ham restaurant. Eggs and ham restaurant, yeah. What else? What are the attributes of an Agile leader? Delegation, yeah. Organization. Okay. Deep democracy, yeah. 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 Clarity of purpose. Yeah. If you've heard of servant leadership, you know, leading by serving. So, all right, a few tips, and then I'll see, you know, in the remaining time how much I can cover. First, really, it's time to, you know, challenge our leaders and ask them to take a very honest look at themselves. All right. So here I put some, you know, basically it's how they interact with people, and basically how they ask questions and how they listen, how present they are. Are they able to shut up? You know, there is Marshall Goldsmith, he's a coaching guru. He's been coaching most of the Fortune 500 CEOs, and he says that the number one issue with leaders is that it's adding too much value. Adding too much value. They don't shut up. They always want to say something, you know. So basically, they need to learn how to shut up, how to listen, how to be present, how to dance, you know, with people, right? I think there is something else, which is basically, what's their intention when they interact with people? Are they really listening, or are they just, you know, thinking about the next question, or just want to show how smart they are, right? Here I just share a little bit of my own journey, you know, my dark side, so please don't take photos and don't share this on social media, right? But I realized when I did my own introspection that, you know, yes, silence is key, and I have the tendency to, you know, fill the space when there is silence. I realized this. I realized that sometimes I wanted to convince people. I was not fully listening. I was, you know, I was judging. I was really judging a lot. So in terms of here, it comes from, I think from, what's the name of this? Is it, I think it's from transactional analysis. So are you, you know, okay with other people? Okay, not okay, not okay, not okay. So sometimes I was in a okay, not okay, meaning I'm okay, you're not okay. So I was very much in a judging, you know, position. I'm super smart, I'm okay, you don't get it, you are stupid. So that was not, I was not super happy to see myself, you know, like this. Yeah. So here there is a very interesting model called Theory X, Theory Y, which basically says, so by doing this work of introspection, you'll see, you know, if you are more, you know, on the X side or on the Y side, which is basically the Y side is really the strong belief that people are resourceful and you can trust them and they will find their own solutions. All right, that you don't need, you know, they are not lazy bastards, you know, who just deserve a good flogging. Otherwise, you know, they won't do any work. So probably after this work of introspection, you will realize that you probably suck at listening and asking questions, as I did. All right? So sorry for my clicker. So what are you able to pick up beyond the words? What happens when, you know, you have to deal with strong emotions? What happens when you get triggered by someone? So what happens when you flip And I know with my colleague Simon, very often when we talk about it during interviews, for instance, when you interview someone, how can you uncover this dark side? We all have a dark side. What happens when you get really, like, when I really trigger you? How you become nasty? Really? Yeah. And how much awareness the candidate has about his or her own dark side. How often do you ask why questions? What's the issue with why questions? Sorry?
It's more like blaming.
More like blaming? Yeah, there is a lot of that people get defensive when you ask why questions. See the difference between why did you do this? Or something like, oh, which factors did you consider before making your decision? See, there is really one which is exploring question, what the what, the which, the how, you know. Whereas the why question really puts people in a very defensive space. All right. So here, that's the land of powerful questions and how you can really go deep and peel the onion, you know, when you engage with people. How you can go beyond the words and really read people. The words they use, their body language, what's their belief system, how much are you able to mirror, paraphrase, match their energy, dance with them, create a bubble. Is it when I interact with you, is it I'm in my bubble, you are in your bubble? Or are we able to create, you know, one bubble and have a shared pool of meaning? So try this. It's called Coaching Dojo. Bring a few people together, read a few articles about, you know, coaching, asking questions, being present, and practice together. This is a lot of fun. You can do it over lunch, you know, lunch and learn, half an hour, 1 hour. Practice, give feedback. Oh yeah, when you ask this question, I love it. I just want to, you know, I want to know more. I want to open up. Or, oh, when you ask that question, no, I'm just shutting down. I don't want to, you know, share more. You learn a lot about yourself and how people see you. All right. So you need to create a safe space for this, but this is a really cool exercise. All right. I'm gonna skip my own journey. I'll share the slide. Again, a lot of shit, a lot of baggage, you know, I'm sharing with you. Right. Connection with others. Basically, these are the key questions. Are you really truly curious, you know, when you engage with people? Do you really care? I'm very surprised when I work with leaders how little they know about the people they've been working with for sometimes decades. They don't know much. So here I'm sharing two activities from the Management 3.0 toolkit. One is called Moving Motivators. So Moving Motivators, basically it's a set of cards. I have the cards with me, so for those who are interested, I'll show you the cards after the session. Just have cards, you form pairs, the rules are somewhere here. Yeah, playing Moving Motivators, there is a poster. You start a conversation with, you know, with your partner, with your pair, and you explore your motivators, how much they are fulfilled. You know, you move them up and down, how much they are fulfilled today. You can also explore the consequence of I don't know, a reorg or a change of, you know, team structure and see, oh, if we change this, how is it going to impact people's motivators? Very good conversation. Another one is called personal maps. Very simple. I'm sure many of you know the mind map format. Again, you form a pair and you ask questions and you draw your partner's mind map. So you explore the values, you explore the hobbies, you explore education, you explore anything you want. You can even draw, you know, like do some sketches, make it, you know, look good if you have some good drawing skills. And then if you want, you can present it to the rest of the team. Why not? It's a great way to learn way more about someone and really practice empathy. It's also a great coaching tool. By just looking at a personal map, you see some gaps. Oh, when I asked questions around this area, nothing, really came out. So maybe there is something there. There is something that, this person doesn't want to share. All right. So my own journey, very open to talk about, myself at work. Thank you. But it's hard for me sometimes to ask personal questions because I don't know. I guess I respect people's privacy maybe too much. So sometimes it's hard for me to ask personal questions. So a challenge for me was next time I meet someone, I really tried to do my best to get one personal information, something personal. So that forced me to get out of my comfort zone, All right, trust, another very interesting topic when you talk about leadership and especially agile leadership. And a good way to explore trust, oh no, by the way, first I want to show you this, sorry. The pyramid of trust. It comes from a book called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. Very interesting dude. Basically, he explains that, if there is no trust in a team, then when we make decisions together, there is no conflict, so it's not okay to share your opinion, right? Because there is fear of conflict. So there is something that he calls dysfunctional harmony, I think, something like this. So then, if it's not okay to share opinions, then you are not committed to the team's decision, which is very common. When I ask, the team makes a decision, and then as a coach, I ask to the people one by one, so that's also your decision, and then that was their decision. But why you didn't open up? Because I can't. If I re-explain, if I open up, if I give my opinion, I'll get fired, or that will boomerang, that will backfire. So it's not okay. All right. So if there is no commitment, then there is no accountability, and there is inattention to the results. So really, the trust is really the foundation. And the role of the leader is really to cultivate, nurture trust. I like the idea of, the leader is a gardener. And really like pruning, weeding, nurturing, watering. So, how much do you really trust others? If you don't trust them, what do you need to trust them more? Because very often, the root cause of many issues is I don't trust them when you ask, people. So looking at how we delegate is a great way to explore the topic of trust, right? So delegation poker, another management 3.0 activity that I find super simple, super powerful. Look at this, it's a deck of cards. It explains the many shades of gray about delegation, from the very authoritarian dictator-like leader telling people what to do, to the full delegation, all right, with the consensus in the middle. So there are 7 shades of decision making, and you explore. So you can do it in a one-to-one with a manager, just to. Because sometimes some manager, you ask them, oh, do you believe in delegation? Oh yeah, I believe in delegation. Oh yeah, do you delegate? Oh yeah, I delegate a lot of things. And then you explore with them, and then you realize that actually, no, they don't delegate that much. That's the power of visualization, right? Okay. Because the idea is that you can create a board. So you put decisions, levels of delegation, and you just, you visualize the levels of delegations across the decisions. So you can do it with a manager, you can do it with a team. It's a bit like, the definition of done, definition of ready discussion you have in a team. So it's a good conversation starter. And you may realize that, oh, this decision, we can break it down into 2 decisions, and one I fully delegated to the team, and another one I still want to be consulted, for instance. All right, so you can define kind of acceptance criteria for decisions. I find it's a very powerful tool. And if there is clarity on the decision making, then that will help having high alignment. All right, and when you have high alignment and high autonomy, things work very smoothly. What you don't want is, high alignment but no autonomy, or high autonomy and no alignment. That will not work. So you need both. You need alignment, autonomy. And as a good agile gardener, leader, you want to cultivate both, right? And sorry again, you cannot read everything. Everything is on SlideShare, so you can learn more. Yep, so for me, real trust is the key component of psychological safety. We need equal voice, we need empathy, right? And I find that a very good way to gauge the level of trust in an organization is to hear, to listen to how often people say, I don't know, I screwed up, I need help. And in many organizations, you don't hear these words because it's not safe. All right. And the last one, appreciation. All right. How appreciation is cultivated in your organization. And when it's, sometimes, there are some appreciation campaigns. I remember an ex-client of mine, basically they received an email every month and asking, meaning forcing people to appreciate someone. So it was appreciation campaign. This is not what we mean. We really want appreciation coming spontaneously, continuously, and from the heart. And we can tell, as human beings, we are the best, bullshit sensor, If it doesn't come from the heart, it's fake appreciation, we can tell. All right? So Kudo, another simple technique. You have cards, and you just write down your appreciation. Usually the rule is that you appreciate someone, not the whole team. You want to make it personal. It can be put on the wall. So this one is basically at PALO IT, the company I work for. But can also be put in a box. And every once in a while you open the box. Can be anonymous or not anonymous. You define. You decide, how far you want to go. But I can tell you that triggers tears. Some people, they haven't received a true appreciation for years, and suddenly there is love flowing. And never underestimate the power of love and positive emotions in the workplace. Things that usually we don't want to go there. In orange, we don't want to go there. But in green, this is really cool. We want to go there. Yeah. All right. So for me, that's one of my fuel. Feeling appreciated. I need a pat on the back from time to time. That's very important for me. Right. If someone shares an appreciation, usually the rule is thank you, not thank you. Many of us, we justify. If someone says, oh, thanks for helping me yesterday, you stayed up late to help me fix that defect, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, but yesterday night, it was, you justify. No, shut up. Just receive it, say thank you. That's all you need. All right. Just really feel how good it feels, right? And really, it's a game changer in many organizations. All right. So these are the super quickly. That was a lot of content I wanted to share with you. 5 practices I really invite you to explore. I can show you the material right now. Play delegation poker, moving motivators, draw personal maps, give Kudo cards, spread the love, be the change. I think this is really the key thing, be the change. Because the operating system is broken. So this is Frederick Taylor, for those of you who don't know this guy. He basically compared human beings to smart gorillas, which was very nice. But basically, yeah, he's the father of scientific management, which was very powerful for orange organizations to bring uneducated workers from the countryside to assembly line. So the idea was we don't want them to make mistakes. So division of labor. If you've seen this movie with Charles Chaplin, the Modern Times, he keeps doing the same movement for hours and hours, and even when he comes back, comes home, from work, he's still, doing this, because that's what he does for 8 hours a day. Keep in mind that now we are creative workers, so we need a new operating system. Even the 40-hour work week comes from there, It's because we realize that after around 10 hours per day, workers on the assembly line started making too many mistakes. So that's why that was decided that around 10 hours, people should go to bed. But for creative workers like us, it's completely different, completely different. So we also need to make our organizations and leaders aware of this, all right? So I think we are tired of, this, grumpy inside because we are not fulfilled, but when we show up at work, we wear the professional mask like this. But everybody knows, this is bullshit, right? That we don't talk about it, okay? So this is a video. I don't think I have time to show it. Do I have time to show it? I have time to show it. All right, so it's a 2-minute or 3-minute video. And it's a conclusion. So there is no sound, so I'm going to describe what happens. And you can watch it on all right, so basically, it's a weird guy dancing, right? Really weird guy. It's somewhere in a festival, and there is this guy, on his own, moving and dancing, and okay, and then there is another guy, joining him. Probably he feels a little less weird, okay, I have a buddy now, all right, and they keep dancing together. They are not on drug. Just want to make it clear, they are normal people, they haven't taken any substance. Yeah. Still a thing. I think they're the third guy now, really pushing. That's the extreme programming. The idea was to take the practices and push them to the extreme. So I don't know. It's another form of extreme dancing, or extreme craziness. And you have more and more people showing up. And now you are really starting a movement. So you were the weird guy dancing. The weird guy sharing love in the organization, the weird guy, showing that we can work differently, the weird guy showing that you can bring your whole self in the workplace, all right? And we don't need to wear the, freaking professional mask anymore. And now they want to be part of the movement, right? This is lame. At the beginning, that was lame to be part of the movement, but now this is lame not to be part of it, all right? And that's how we create a movement, right? By embodying the change, by really having the gut. Oh, that's my phone saying that I should shut up now. Again, sorry about that. Really, my phone wants me to shut up. Okay. So I really believe, in this power of, get out of our comfort zone, live by our values, inspire others. This is what we expect from leaders, and we are all leaders. We expect them to show something different, and we inspire others. And after a while, everybody is dancing, right? And everybody is happy, right? Okay, so that's my conclusion, I think. I love this quote from Gandhi, all right? I think that really illustrates the power of, starting a movement. I'll share some further reading with you. And again, be the change you want to be in the world. So thank you. I don't know if we have time for a question or two. Two questions. He's very, very specific about the number of questions, I've noticed.
So, a very
quick one.
So, how does the experience, if I'm working in a team where I have a developer who is 20 plus experience, I am 2 plus experience, how does this impact the growth of a team as an agile team? Does it impact it or not at all?
What's the it in your question?
The growth of the growth of the team as an agile team.
Okay. So the question is how becoming an agile team impacts the group, right? How does it shape the group?
With the experience, someone is of way too much experience, and there are others who are not of that experience.
Yeah.
So does it impact it? Slows it down?
I don't think so. I've seen very young people being very orange or very red, and I've seen senior people being very green. I think age is not an indicator of openness to change. Actually, I know quite a few senior people. When we start an agile initiative, for them it's a finally. I've been faking it for 30 years. Now I can be myself fully. And I also know young people who are not very. It's not easy for them to be in that space of openness and sharing and I think vulnerability is the key. So I think it's deep inside ourselves, So yeah, I don't know. That's my perspective. Yeah, and we can continue the conversation later if you want. Okay. Yes, one question. The number two. After this, we.
So the whole focus of the discussion was around the qualities and the principle of leadership in Agile in the IT world. So how can we apply the same principles in a personal life? Like we have family, so there is some leader, unofficial or in the head of the family, or in the government facilities. Can we use or apply the same principle across all the formats, or like is it different or is it changes?
Good question. I would say yes. The question was, can we apply what I shared, in different contexts, like you said, government, family. So my answer. Yeah, I think my answer is yes. I think really there should be, I really believe that the vibration of humanity is increasing, that people are really looking for more. People want to make a bigger impact, they want to be fulfilled, they want to be themselves, at work, in life, everywhere. And I think the gap is increasing between organizations and the people. And I really feel that, yeah, any form of a family is an organization, a family is a system, a team in a government body is a system, a team in an IT context is a system. So I see things more like as systems, and individuals have a level of consciousness, systems have their own level of consciousness, and the system is very stable when they are aligned. If there is a gap, if you resonate at this level, and you are in an organization or in a family and it's at that level, then you sense a tension. And basically you pretend to be someone else in the system. And it drains your energy, and usually it makes people feel very unfulfilled. They are like, I'm not really myself. So yeah. Yep. Again, we can continue this conversation later.
Be careful when you play delegation poker with your wife.
Be careful when you play delegation poker with your wife. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for staying late.